everybody, and welcome to my December studio vlog. My name is Kathy. I'm posting this vlog a week or so before the end of the month because I'll be taking a bit of time off felting around Christmas, but I have a few things to show you and then something a little different at the end of the video. So the first thing I finished this month was my T-Rex, which I'm super proud of. You may have seen my video showing the process of making him from the beginning to end, but if not, check it out. It's called I Made a Needle Felted T-Rex. Definitely not going to sell this guy, but he's going to be great for attracting attention at craft shows, and he'll keep me company in my studio along with his Velociraptor cousin. And who knows, there might be a third dinosaur coming in the future. I don't know. It won't be for a while yet, but I'm thinking maybe a pterosaur, like a flying dinosaur. But who knows? But I will keep you posted on that. So here are a few things that I worked on this month. I take very, very few commissions. Actually, I almost never take them, but occasionally I will take one, or at the very least consider taking one, from somebody who's purchased something for me before. Also, if it's something that I feel I can do well. I might make a video on the whole commission thing and why I generally don't do them, but for now, I'll just say I took this one partly because it was for a gentleman who purchased one of my high-end items at one of my craft shows, and partly because he was also extremely unpicky and accommodating. He suggested a few different options and would have been happy with any of them, I think, but one of them was something I've wanted to make again. I made one last year, and it's an animal I really love, so I chose that one. I'm showing just a little bit of its progress and not fully revealing it, partly because my customer ordered it as a Christmas gift, but also because I have a video coming out very soon of how it was made. So stay tuned for that, but in the meantime, can anybody guess what it is? I don't know if I made it obvious or not, so if you have any guesses, let me know in the comments. In my last vlog, I talked about the idea of timing one of my projects, and I asked people to vote with their suggestions, and I had way more votes than I've ever expected, so thank you so much for participating in that, everybody who did. The winner by quite a landslide was a fox, so I've started on that, and here are a few progress shots of that, but it's not done yet, so I still have quite a bit of work to do, but that video should be coming up pretty soon. And I'm planning a pretty challenging pose for it, so it may take a little bit longer than I'm expecting. So far, it's kind of around the same time that I thought it would be, but we'll see because, again, there's still tons to do. My kit sales were great over the past month, better than I expected. This is my closet in October, and this is it now. So I'm just really happy about how they've been received and want to keep working on getting them into more stores and especially kind of getting them seen online. That's something that I really want to work on in the new year. So a few smaller projects that I worked on this month. This is Pacman that I made for my brother. It's a replica of a vintage Pacman puppet that he had in the 80s that looked like this, and he still has them actually. And I also made this tiny little octopus, so there's a little story behind this guy. When my nephew was really young, I gave him the famous Jellycat octopus. You may have seen him before, and he was a big hit. So he calls him Juno. So each year I've given him a different size of Juno, and he now owns 4 pink Jellycat Junos in all the sizes they have available, plus a gray one and a red one. And I've also given him 2 felted Junos that are even smaller than the smallest Jellycat size. This year, I think I might have made him the smallest Juno I can possibly manage. He's only about 1.5 inches high. So this might be it for the Junos, but that's okay because I think he's probably going to start outgrowing them. At some point, and I can't for the life of me remember when it inspired me to do this, but I started working on some fruit, an apple, a peach, and a mandarin orange. So these aren't even close to being finished, and I've kind of lost the drive I had to make them, but I'm going to finish them at some point, and hopefully by my next vlog, I'll be able to show you the finished fruit, and I guess they'll go in my stash of smaller pieces for next year's markets, and hopefully they'll sell, and maybe just hang there and look nice, who knows. So earlier this month, I was out doing some Christmas shopping, and I saw some felts in Indigo, which is Canada's biggest bookstore chain, bookstore/gift store. It's not high-end exactly, but I'd say it's a good quality store. Anyway, I was at first happy to see these, as I feel like it's still unusual to see felts in stores in Canada. let alone in a chain store. But when I took a closer look, I'm not really sure how I feel about it. So a lot of them were really sloppily made with glue showing and frayed ends and that kind of thing. These little ones stood out to me because they're kind of similar to the ducks with scarves that I've made, but a lot of them were just completely falling apart with their heads coming off or completely bent over. The prices were pretty low, I think around $12 to $15, which for indigo is low, but I would much rather pay a small maker more to make a higher quality item than pay a corporation for a low quality product like this, especially when you consider they were probably made by people who are getting paid next to nothing. It was a little bit disappointing because I do consider indigo to be on the higher quality side, and just to see felting represented this way was, I don't know, just a little disheartening, I guess. Anyway, speaking of shopping, I did go to Toronto this month and I went to a really fun outdoor Christmas market. So here are a few shots from that. I didn't see any felted stuff there, but there was a bar there called the Ugly Sweater, and it had this giant ball of yarn outside. So at least that's what I think it is. Anyway, there are lots of stalls with beautiful goods, lots of delicious food to choose from. So that was something fun and Christmassy that I did this month. So now the next thing I'm about to show, I wasn't sure about showing it because at first thought it doesn't have anything to do with felting. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized that it actually does have a lot to do with it, at least my journey with felting. So I used to have a cake business and I specialized in handmade sugar flowers, which is what I teach now at college. And here are a few examples of wedding cakes that I've made in the past, as well as celebration cakes. And to make a very long story short, I eventually shifted from cakes to gingerbread houses, both making them for clients and making them in competitions as well. So here are a few of those. And what I mean about my cake and gingerbread background having something to do with felting is that I think, along with my graphic design background, that it really helped me to catch on quickly to felting as an art form, in that I have a lot of practice with the 3D form and figurine making and sculpting already. So I think these years of making edible art have really influenced my work and my style. And I think I might do a longer video at some point going further into my background as an artist. But for now, I just thought it would be nice to share, especially since the gingerbread is very Christmassy. So, I also wrote a book on gingerbread, which I'm very proud of. Probably my proudest professional accomplishment, because I wrote it and I photographed it and I designed it myself. So the initial print run was 10,000 copies and they sold out, but the publisher decided not to do another run. And I was quite happy to leave that in the past and concentrate on something new, which was felting. I have fond memories of my past in the edible arts, but right now I'm just happy that I have that past, because I think it's really made a difference to what I'm doing now. Anyway, so I did have plans to film myself for the end of the video, but I've had a few days of not feeling great. So I think just for fun, I'm instead going to leave you with this little video that I filmed years ago. This is me making one of the projects for my book. I think the publisher wanted to use it as promotion or something, but it's been so long that I can't even really remember. Anyway, so while you're watching this, I just wanted to take the opportunity to thank you all for being here. I'm just the teeniest little channel right now, but it's actually grown more than I expected in the last month or so. So it's really exciting for me, and hopefully it'll keep going in that direction. I even had a video get over 900 views. It's inching its way to 1,000, which to me is crazy because I still feel like I just started on here. So if you've been here since I started, thank you so much for that support. And if you're new here and you like what you see, please don't hesitate to smash that subscribe button. And I'm always open to hearing ideas for videos you guys might be interested in seeing. I have a list and I've gotten a couple of suggestions already. Definitely plan to incorporate those suggestions. But again, I'm always open to hearing more. So I'm wishing you all a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, and I will see you in the next video. And until then, take care.